Today we're talking about bagels, and not just any bagel, the Everything Bagel. So your first step is to activate your yeast. You want to get 1.5 cups of warm water, and I think it's between 115 and 120 degrees that you want your water, but I always go just by feel, and I get it beyond the point where I would be comfortable washing my hands and use that, because you really want something that's a little more than just temperate warm, but you don't want to go to a scalding hot level where you're going to kill your yeast, because yeast is actually a living thing, and to activate it you need to give it something to eat, which is where this next step comes in. We need a tablespoon of yeast dissolved in our water. So I'm going to get a tablespoon, 1 tablespoon. I like these jars of yeast because then you can fit the measurement right in there. And this is a step where a lot of people are going to get kind of mixed results. It all depends on how well your yeast blooms. So you put about a spoonful of sugar and you want to mix that in there. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how things bubble up and go. You want it to really bubble up at the top, and if it does not, if it kind of gets to a cloudy consistency and you don't see any action on top with the yeast, then your yeast is dead. So, alright, so while my yeast is blooming, I'm going to prepare my flour. I use King Arthur flour. This is bread flour, and bread flour really gives you a nice result for bagels and pretty much any bread project you get into. You want 4 cups of bread flour. 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and about a teaspoon of salt. I like to do that with my hand. After 5 minutes, I'm going to pour it into my flour mixture. There's no rhyme or reason to that. We're going to mix that until it's combined. A metal spoon, mix that in until it's mostly combined. And then what I'm going to do is flour this surface, dump it out, and start kneading. And you're going to want to take off any jewelry, any rings that you have on when you get into that kneading process, or you will be very sorry. Once you have sufficiently kneaded your dough, you want it to be the consistency of about, those Pillsbury things that you crack open. It's going to feel a little like that, maybe not as wet, but very soft, pretty fluid, and then you're going to cover it and let it rest for about 10 minutes with a lint-free cloth, and you can leave it right where it is. After we have let our dough rest, we're going to portion it into hand-size pieces. I usually like to do this with a kitchen scale, and I'll make each piece approximately 4 ounces. That makes a really substantially sized bagel. So it'll be about the size of a baseball. Here is my finished pan of bagels. We're going to take these, cover them in plastic wrap, and refrigerate them overnight. And you do not want to skip this step, because if you decide to just cook them right away and go on to the next step, they will go flat, they will not be fluffy at all, and they will cook hard as bricks. So you're going to want a tight seal on your pan. I tend to kind of wrap it around twice just to make sure there's no air.
Cheerio.